Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. As Dashy continues to hint at this Optic Dallas move, we also have Methodz completely roasting a significant percentage of the league for last year, deciding not to play in 8 matches, despite, well, the fact that they're pretty much bottom of the table. Very much intriguing your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Really up to the channel, thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, this from RC's Need Vanguard ASAP. It's not too long away now, November the 5th, Vanguard is going to be arriving only like, well, less than 2 weeks or so from today. Going to be exciting stuff, lots of talk I'm sure going to be around that, and maybe pretty much last year when the game was released, that's when we got the final confirmations of like, you know, the Chicago Huntsmen becoming Optic Chicago, Los Angeles, Thieves coming into play, all this type of stuff. It was pretty much around the game launch. Of course, last year I think it was a week or so later, so I feel like October this year has gone relatively quickly. Also get this from Chino though, right, because of course last year he was on Los Angeles Guerrillas briefly, at least he was on the starting team briefly, was on the academy before that. Man, this might really be the first year where I won't be in the league. Just doesn't feel right. Difficult to see, of course, but that's really the thing with some of these players that had a difficult time last year, and maybe Methodz is calling out some of these guys we'll look at here in just a few minutes' time. This also from Pentagram came top 5, I'm pretty sure, in the Breaking Point top 20 Challengers Players of the Year. Can't believe the game drops in 11 days. Clueless on who and where I'll be playing. Of course, some of these guys, like the likes of Pentagram, if he has a hot start in Challengers with whatever team, he's a great opportunity to get picked up as a substitute, right, for some of these rosters in the league, and especially if they don't perform. Of course, a lot of them are theoretically upgraded, but you know, who knows, like some of these rosters I'm sure are going to be fantastic, better than expectations. Some of them certainly will be worse, and that's an exciting discussion to continue to have over the coming weeks. This also, the was spotted on Dashy's Instagram right here, vibe check at the HQ, guessing this is the Hex Quarters, but as you can see, Dallas, Texas. Now, well, the Hex Quarters isn't in Dallas, Texas, it's in Frisco, Texas, so people are looking at this and saying, you know, okay, something's going on here, maybe Dashy's just chucked this on, I don't really know, but at this point there's been so much bait and stuff coming out the last several weeks. I'm pretty sure I even saw Zoomer on Reddit because, you know, he's been doing a fair bit of baiting about where he might go in terms of organizations, 100 Thieves, Optic, FaZe, or whatever the case might be, Los Angeles Guerrillas, and he's been baiting about it on stream and stuff, and it's kind of rubbed people up the wrong way. I know that people were saying that they actually kind of like the fact that Crone leaks all the rosters because it means all the bait that comes out on the timeline for the pros, even if they try and like lead you off the wrong trail, you know that they're, you know, they're speaking BS because Crone's got it all right from day one pretty much. So that's kind of the thing, right? And of course we know it's going to happen at some point. Shotzzy we know is kind of frustrated. The fact that it's taking this long to get everything confirmed. As well, Hitch said a while ago, I imagine there's maybe legal stuff ongoing behind the scenes. But well, hopefully they do a good announcement, right? Because they've had all this time to prepare it. We saw them potentially doing the filming like several weeks ago now for what this announcement is going to be. Hopefully it's a good one, and hopefully it all makes sense really. Like I'd love to see some in-depth analysis really from Hex and Hastro on exactly why this coming together, well, is making sense now, and also from some of the guys on the organization about what their potential might be. But yeah, maybe Dashy getting involved with stuff like that, as you can see in this image right here. This also because the F1 was on yesterday, the US Grand Prix. Maybe some of you guys are tuned into a Grand Prix for the very first time in your lives, and hopefully you had a fantastic, I mean, it was an absolutely phenomenal race. But anyway, Mack says right here, like I think a lot of, well, maybe people from the US in general, that maybe haven't really been into F1 for the last, well, it's not really a massive sport in the US, but when Drive to Survive came out on Netflix, it certainly inspired that to some degree. And this kind of series for Call of Duty could be absolutely phenomenal. Like the personalities we have in Call of Duty are pretty much unmatched in any other esport. And if there was like a Drive to Survive, like he goes Slay to Survive, I mean, you could do something along those lines for Call of Duty. I mean, as Joey Nubsy says, Recon back in World War II is pretty awesome. They used to do these kind of, they go around with a team for a little bit, like before an event, they'd go for like a few different teams, and kind of, yeah, their backstory, what they were doing before the events and stuff like this, how they were preparing, what they were feeling, these types of things, and then they're kind of going through the event as it transpires from their perspective. Like, you know, the league, well, at least pre-CDL, right, CWL and the MLG guys did a fantastic job with those types of series. Of course, it's not going to quite have the budget of something like Drive to Survive, but I think the CDL should take advantage of it, right? Because as we know, some of these pro players, they're in the last few years of their career, they're not going to be lasting too long. Like, I think now is the perfect time, right, especially going back to LAN, in theory, hopefully, like, to get some of this great content coming out, which, you know, with any luck will happen, and the CDL can step their game up to some degree there, because they did a solid job, but it's not quite, well, not quite where it could be, as Mack is kind of describing. Let's talk about this then, right? So a big discussion point this last season has been about players playing in 8 matches. We see this from right at the start of January, I'm pretty sure 2021 on Cold War. Passion 8 says Simp, RC, Simp, Parasite, Vivid versus Formal, Priestahh, Decimate, and Donny Temp. Now, well, these are the matches that were going on at the time. 8's effectively is a pickup game. Like 8 pros get together, they get into a custom game lobby, 2 captains are chosen, and then, yeah, they build their rosters, like they just pick through the teams, and then, okay, they play a match, match, and they used to put up money for it. I'm not sure the CDL allows them to do that nowadays. But anyway, it's generally seen as a pretty good way to practice. Back in Black Ops 3, for example, when I was really getting into the scene properly and watching a load of these, I'd watch like the Optic guys play their scrims for the day, and then they would get on and play 8s and just go into random lobbies. That was also a lot of fun to watch, and considered pretty much like scrims with your team, like practice against other teams. That's the best way to get practice, but after that it's pretty much 8s. Now, as of late, things have fallen off to some degree. Simp definitely towards the end of the season, pretty much none of the FaZe guys were playing 8s, and really like I think a lot of the pro players were following their lead, and there was pretty much no 8s going on at all. The teams would hop on, they would play their scrims, then they would get off and just like chill for the rest of the day. Maybe they'd play league play or something, but not playing 8s against other pro players. And Methodz is pretty much slamming the guys that go on to do this and saying, look, if you're bottom in the league, like if you're garbage, right, if you're dropping a 0.6, why are you not playing the game more than you are at the present time? Like Slash is like, look, if Simp isn't playing 8s, and yeah, he doesn't need to play 8s, he's probably going to teach people what he does if he plays 8s, which is fair enough for those type of really top players. But you know, Slash is like, look, if Simp's not playing 8s, that's an advantage I can get on him, right? I can put in that time. Maybe if you do play with some of these other guys, maybe you hear some hints, right, that come out from some of the teams on what they do in the game. Like there's so many benefits to playing 8s, and maybe playing 8s could give you bad tendencies. We'll have a look at what some of the FaZe guys say about that in a second. As Arcitys says right here, I hate 8s. I tried playing them, but I mean, still, I think for the bottom tier of the league, and Methodz is saying actually playing 8s against the pros when he did get the opportunity to do so was one of the best things he did after he got benched from Toronto Ultra, getting himself an opportunity once again in the CDL, we imagine, for this year on Washington.
Like, that it sounded horrible. Miserable. That's I was like, dude, there's no way I want to go play this. I was like, I'm just gonna play 8s. But unlucky for me, nobody was playing 8s. So I was like, well, what am I supposed to do, bro?
Tom and I thought that was quite odd. We had a couple of guests come on, especially around the end of the spring, and we would always ask them, like, what are you doing, like, outside of scrims? And people were just like, just chilling, because 8s are just not popping. And it's so weird because of how competitive the league is now. There was a lot of players that rotated in now. You would think that there were a lot of people that wanted to grind. Instead, it was, well, basically dead for 2 or 3 months straight.
Dude, it makes no sense to me. Go ahead, Tom.
I was going to say, how did that happen? Like, how did 8s die? Why did everybody stop playing? Do you guys know?
Sense.
Or does it legit make no sense?
It doesn't make sense. As the game progresses, 8s become less and less more frequent. So as the stakes get higher, I mean, I said this before, right? If you're Simp and you're aBeZy, you don't need to be an 8s. Want to know why? Because you're the #1 team, you're performing. There is absolutely no excuse for the 6 through 12 players to not be an 8s. And it's like, oh, 8s make you worse. You can't get worse than 8th. I mean, you're already... So you can't get worse by playing the game more. So your excuse only works if you're Simp, aBeZy, Cammy, Shotzzy. I don't want to hear from the bottom 4. I
think that's where it comes in, though. A lot of these people are like, well, Simp's not playing 8s, so I don't need to play 8s. And
you're not Simp, bud.
He never played 8s or 10s.
Like, you are, brother,
I
you're
think that's
Simp.
a terrible thing. It's like, all right, well, Simp's not playing 8s. I'm going to go play 8s and get this advantage on him. He's not grinding 8s. I'm going to grind 8s and get a little bit of an edge. Like, that's the way I look at it. You know what I mean?
Simp has a 1.3. You have a 0.6.
But like, bro,
you get your ass in that lobby, boss.
Tom, you know, I mean, you guys both know. Bro, for years, the best players were always playing 8s.
Yeah, they were.
Cods, who was in 8s all the time? Optic players, me, my team, LG, Tom, FaZe, like, all these players were playing 8s tournaments, bro. Like, we were grinding, and the best players always came from 8s.
And I would tune in the afternoon to Jerry's stream, and everybody was out there, not only piecing on people. Jerry would be doing his thing. Like, all of the good players play, and I wonder if that's sort of the golden era of 8s.
I mean, hold on, bro. 8s are also important. Like, bro, the reason... Dude, so I almost got... I had interest from some... After I got benched, I had interest from some CDL teams, and that was because of how good I was playing in 8s. No one gives a how well I'm playing in challengers, and I don't care if they say that you do. They really don't. Me in Pro 8s playing the best in the lobby, that is what actually had eyes on me. Like, bro, I had coaches DMing me saying, like, dude, like, you're playing really well. You're like, literally random coaches would hit me up and be like, dude, you're playing incredible. Like, that was a lot more impactful than playing challengers. And the fact that there were people in the league that weren't playing 8s actually boggles my mind, especially towards champs, which makes no sense. Like, you are about to not have a career. What the are you doing?
So this was one of the big discussions that went on back in June, and really it continued on since then in a surprising manner, because as you can see at the start of the season, Simp's playing 8s and stuff like this, and then as the season goes on, when it gets to like crunch time really, then the players are actually playing less 8s and well, less practice time in general really on the game. Of course, the Simp says, like, it gives you bad tendencies. As Parasite says, you know, I don't believe that's necessarily the case in all situations. You're right to an extent, says Slasher, but 8s are the second best form of practice. It helps more than it hurts. Bottom team should not be playing scrims scrims and just getting off every single day. Like, you know, I thought it was funny what Methodz says, really. If you're at the bottom point of the league, if you're dropping up 0.6 and Simp's dropping at 1.3, like, you know, what are you doing not playing Atra? Like, get yourself in that lobby and start actually trying to improve. So I get it from the FaZe guys' perspective. As Slash is like, can we get 8 pros rates today? Or like, nah, it's just not straight, I'm not going to happen. And we saw this a number of times, really, the fact that Slasher and co, like, especially when he was benched from Los Angeles Thieves, what was he meant to do? Right? Like, he can play challenges, but as Methodz says, he actually had more success playing Pro 8 and like showing he could do it against those guys than playing in challenges. And as he says, you know, 8 is the second best form of practice once again right here. Slasher, Vivid, these guys tried to make it work. Slasher even said, I'm pretty sure, that he considered Vivid for his Los Angeles Guerrillas team this season potentially, or at least was considering Vivid to team with through this offseason, largely because Vivid was one of the fellow grinders that was actually trying to play 8. So seems like a big importance about it. Are these players just getting lazy? Like, you know, the fact of the matter is, as Methodz was kind of saying, your job is on the line. You don't play these 8s, you don't put in the time, you're going to lose your job next year. Can you really complain when you don't get a spot in the league next year, when you weren't really doing your all to try and improve, but also to show people that you actually care about you know, playing this game at a high level? Very surprising stuff, pretty entertaining though nonetheless. Just a couple of clips here to finish off with. Firstly from Envoy, Modern Warfare 2021. This guy is the master with the Uzi, there's no doubt about it. He's well, popping some absolute pieces right here in this Modern Warfare throwback, and well, this one as well from the Call of Duty League. This obviously that phenomenal finish, Toronto Ultra versus Dallas Empire towards the end of the season. Pretty pretty remarkable stuff to look back on. Definitely makes me look forward to getting back into actually watching some competitive Call of Duty at a high level when Vanguard does drop in just a few days' time. But very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm. Like, you enjoyed this content, other people just like you may enjoy this content as well, and I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thanks for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.
He's gonna lose it. Shotzi now inside the hill. He's surrounded. Come out with your hands up. Illy 5-2. Shotzi gets the next one. And it's Illy versus Cammy inside of the hill, trying to buy his teammates time. And it's a hero on hero fight, and Illy wins it. The hard point still in contest. Bance is going to get in there. How many more kills can Ellie and Crim find? 45 seconds left in the point. Plenty of time for both of these maniacs to contest over. And it is far from over yet. We are witnessing a breakdown, friends. 10 seconds now for Dallas Empire. They've taken the lead. Ultra, you've got to go. And it's Cammy at the helm. Tip with a spear. He drives forward. Oh my! It's far from over. Here comes Crim. No! An open field. Bance, the foot race is on. 5 seconds for the win and counting. Here come the streaks. And oh my God, we go back again. The pendulum keeps swinging.